And we are live. You already know who it is. My name is Mike Kyle, aka the Fantasy Vulture. I have over a decade worth of fantasy football experience and have continuously competed for fantasy championships over the course of the past 6 seasons. Let's make it 7 in 2020. But enough of me. I'm here for you. On today's episode of the FV Show, we're going to continue our Week 10 game recaps, breaking down every single Week 10 matchup, all through the lens of fantasy football. Up next, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Giants. So if you're excited for this game recap, be sure to hit that like button down below, like an open receiver downfield. Also, smash that subscribe button, power running back style like Derrick Henry up the middle so you never miss a video from me. And last but not least, you can follow me on all social media platforms at FF Vulture. I love to answer all of your start-sit questions, trade offers, waiver wire pickups, and anything else fantasy football related over there. So let's dive right in between the Eagles and the Giants. The Giants take home another victory in the NFC East. This is their back-to-back win against a divisional opponent. They beat the Eagles by a final score of 27-17. Carson Wentz, we had a bad Carson Wentz game. Simple as that. 21 of 37 for 208 passing yards. Miles Sanders, his first game back, coming off of that knee injury. 15 carries, caught 2 of 5 targets for 95 total yards. And Boston Scott did steal the show a bit. 3 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Not to mention that Corey Clement also fell into the end zone as well, vulturing Miles Sanders in that aspect. Travis Fulgham, the letdown is here. 1 reception on 5 targets for 8 yards. Fulgham had a 13% target share after seeing 25% plus over the course of the past 4 weeks. On the other side with the Giants, Daniel Jones, 21 of 28 for 244 yards, 64 rushing yards, and a long rushing touchdown. Wayne Gallman also got into the end zone twice, 18 carries for 53 yards. Darius Slayton, 7 targets, 5 receptions for 93 yards, and Sterling Shepard, 6 receptions for 47 yards. Wayne Gallman, super viable moving forward. Let's talk about him. Let's start with the Giants first this time instead. We usually start with the road team. Let's start with the home team for the Giants. Daniel Jones. This is some of the things that we were expecting from Daniel Jones this year. Just having that ability, the rushing ability for him, it's going to give him an increased baseline, and obviously his ability to get into the end zone as a result of that as well. You look at what he's done, that's actually his first rushing touchdown on the year, and it's one of the reasons why he had such a good game, right? Having that monster touchdown run is certainly going to help his fantasy performance, because we know that he might not be the best passer, but what he can do on the ground is going to be the thing that really does boost his fantasy upside. And ironically enough, right, he's had 3 games this season over 60 rushing yards. 2 of them have come versus the Eagles. So that's just a nice little fun note. They got the bye next week, but if you look at the schedule going forward for the Giants, it's Cincinnati, Seattle, Arizona, and Cleveland. So that's 4 really good matchups for Daniel Jones, and I'm interested to see how we view him through the lens of those games, because he might be a guy who can actually help you, who can actually propel you into the fantasy playoffs, maybe even in a round 2 if you're into streaming quarterbacks. Wayne Gallman is a super viable fantasy option moving forward. We've now seen it for 4 straight weeks that Wayne Gallman has found his way into the end zone, which is nice. He's the goal line back. He's getting anywhere between 10 and, in this game, 18 touches a game, or so let's just call it a 14 and even split. And with Devonta Freeman going on IR, Gallman's going to be the guy. And we've seen Gallman be the guy for New York in the past when Saquon Barkley was out last year. Gallman was fine in that respect. So we know what Gallman can be, and he has kind of a history of being that guy. Once running backs go down, he's like the next man up mentality. And I think that Gallman can be viable for fantasy going forward. Again, bye week next week, but he's got a few really good matchups with Cincinnati and Seattle back-to-back weeks in week 13 and 14. I love Sterling Shepard still, just a down game, just the yardage wasn't there for him. Darius Slayton, you never know the kind of game that you're going to get from Slayton. So again, if you start him, you're really just hoping that you can hit on something. But you look at the 3 games before this one, 3.3, 8.1, and 1.3. The production just has not been there for him. He actually really played 61% of snaps in this game. So just as far as the passing options go, for the Giants, I'm still really only comfortable with Sterling Shepard. Like, Darius Slayton does things that make you want to play him, But the reality of the situation is that he's just too inconsistent, and we can't have inconsistency as we enter the fantasy playoffs, because that's when we need guarantees, locked-in production from our starting lineup. Moving over to the Eagles, though, let's talk about this. Just a bad Carson Wentz game. Disappointing because this Giants defense it's average, like it's better than we all expected it to be, but there's still definitely room for teams to strike against it. And just looking at what he's done recently, the past 2 weeks, coming off of, I mean, he even torched the Giants 2 weeks ago before the bye week, right? But you just look at what Wentz has done throughout the course. I mean, honestly, since week 3. So you got like week three through week 7 was when Wentz was on fire. Down week versus Dallas, the bye week, and then another down week. Carson Wentz we know what Carson Wentz can be. It's just a matter of, can he be that consistently? And the answer is no, right? So very similarly to Daniel Jones, like, we know what you could do, but can you do it? Can you do it week in and week out? Unlikely. He has 2 really good matchups upcoming with the Browns and the Seahawks. So Carson Wentz is a guy that you want to start, but if you actually have the balls to do it, I don't know. I'm not at that point yet. We'll see where I sit on Thursday or Friday entering the week. But I'm just going to chalk this week up as a bad Carson Wentz game, and I expect him to bounce back going forward. Miles Sanders just coming back automatically and getting 15 carries and also seeing 5 targets. Fine with it. Gets vultured by Corey Clement. Whatever it is, what it is. It's unfortunate, but we know that Miles Sanders is back, locked in, and healthy. And with that being said, he should be in your lineup. I have no concerns with Sanders going forward. But I do want to talk about this wide receiver core, because this is where I'm currently having the hardest time with right now. So one, I just said it was a bad Carson Wentz game, so we had to factor that in. But if you look at the target distribution for these wide receivers, Reagor had 7, Greg Ward had 6, Travis Fulgham had 5, and Dallas Goedert had 6. Richard Rodgers had 5. Alshon Jeffrey had 1. So what do we make of this target distribution for these guys? This is the first time all year where this wide receiver core and this tight end core has been fully healthy, right? Obviously, Ertz and Deshaun Jackson aren't playing, but you kind of get the point, right? There was a good chunk in this season where they were literally rolling out Travis Fulgham, and that was it. But now we get Fulgham, we get Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, Jeffrey, and Dallas Goedert back in the lineup. What does this mean for pretty much all of these guys? And the answer yet is I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't know if I need to chalk this up to a bad Carson Wentz game, or is this the new reality for Travis Fulgham? Honestly, from what I saw during that game, I personally think that it's a James Bradberry thing more than anything else. Bradberry's been a lockdown corner all season long, just taking away the top target for each team, which can explain Fulgham's stat line. But even still, you just look at the target distributions. I don't know where I sit with it just yet. My inclination is that I'm still going to play Fulgham moving forward. Jalen Reagor, I think, is going to be a nice flex option. Dallas Goedert is going to be your guy at the tight end position. And everybody else is just kind of meh, like fringe starts, like if you're desperate. But those are the 3 guys who I'm having a lot of attention, who I have my eyeballs on going forward. But I think that's going to do it for this game recap. Not a whole lot to talk about. Again, just a lot of bad quarterback play. And then as a result, the wide receivers for both teams really weren't involved whatsoever. And it really was a game that was won on the ground. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below. Try to do this for every single game. You can also subscribe so you never miss a video from me. You can also follow me on all social media platforms at FF Vulture. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, people come and go, but fantasy championships are forever, and I will see you in the next video.